Today we're gonna and we're gonna explain what design thinking methodology is and how can we combine UI UX design. UI and UX stands for user interface and user experience. This presentation will be given by me, Jude Al Hassan, and my colleague Rami Mithrioni. So I'm gonna welcome all of you, and I need to ask you: have you guys ever came across the design thinking webinar session that we gave last time, or this is your first time knowing about design thinking? Please share your answers on the chat, or you can unmute yourself and talk to me. Design thinking is a very interesting topic, and basically people use it to know what are the challenges that they are facing, and then they come up with a solution for this business challenge or a challenge, and then they implement this solution. So we're going to give you today a homework after explaining what design thinking methodology is and what is UI UX design is. We're going to give you a homework to complete and to submit all your solutions by sending it to my colleague's email address, Rami. My name is Jude Al Hassan, and I work as a content developer for the IBM Digital Nation Africa program. And one of my focus areas is design thinking. A year ago, I attended a design thinking workshop which helped me see its value, and since then I was so eager to learn more about this topic. I started taking courses online, and I achieved the co-creator badge, which allowed me to lead design thinking workshops and give training sessions to students, startups, and developers. I also developed the design thinking for beginners course on the IBM Digital Nation Africa platform as part of the innovator journey. The IBM Digital Nation Africa platform has 4 major parts, which are learn, earn badges, innovate, and find jobs. Learn is the platform offering a wide range of courses and tools to help you learn about the latest emerging technologies, trends, and explore new opportunities in the real world. Earn badges are verified proof of your achievements, recognized, respected, and valued in the IT industry, and can be included in your CV and shared on your social media such as Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. In the Innovate, here you can seek inspiration for different ideas, learn about the design thinking process, and start learning and building solutions on IBM Cloud Light account. And in the Find Jobs, you can leverage the Job Advisor tool powered by IBM Watson that can help you find jobs related or relevant to your skills. The tool also performs a skill gap analysis and suggests available courses on the platform that you can add to your learning journey. Now let me show you how can you navigate the IBM Digital Nation Africa platform, and let me get you familiar with using it. So this is the IBM Digital Nation platform, as we have 3 journeys, which are Explorer, Innovator, and Newcomer. In the Explorer, this journey, you will be introduced to emerging technologies and how it's being applied in various industries. The courses are 30 minutes long, and in the end of each course, you will find a quiz. So after passing the quiz with a grade of 80% or more, you will get the IBM Digital Nation. Now, in the second journey, which is the Innovator, inspiration for ideas and gain practical experience on emerging technologies with hands-on exercises. In the Newcomer journey, you can access additional learning courses on emerging technologies aligned with the latest job roles. Use the Job Advisor tool to fill in your profile and find jobs that best match your skills. Let's go back. Design thinking is a human-centered approach to innovation, and it's a methodology that companies use to solve the challenges based on the customer's needs and wants. So instead of coming up with a product or a service and try to sell it to people Companies try to understand what customers really need and create product or a service based on that. So, design thinking has three major actions. In order to come up with the right solution and know the right business challenge, you have to go three major actions, which are observe, reflect, and make. What does observe, reflect, and make mean? Observe is immersing yourself in the real world to get to know your users, uncover the needs, and learn the landscape and test ideas. In other words, you are observing the market and identify the business challenge. Second action is reflect. Reflect is coming together and forming a point of view to find the common ground, align the team, uncover insights, and plan ahead. In other words, you are reflecting on the challenge and you will try to understand what can be done to overcome it. The third action is make. In the make, we give the opportunity to explore possibilities, communicate ideas, and drive real outcomes. In other words, we can make and implement the solution to make it available for our users. So these are the three basic actions we should take in a design thinking, which observe, reflect, and make. Now, I'm going to give you an example and show you what are the three major steps and how can we relate these steps to observe, reflect, and make. The first step we're going to take in order to make a successful design thinking workshop, we identify the business challenge. We're going to see what is the business challenge. The second step is we identify our persona and follow the design thinking technique. So we'll understand our target audience, who are they, and then go through the design thinking technique. In the third step, we create the solution. Create the MVP of the solution. What does that mean? MVP is a minimal viable product. And in this step, we will come up with a real outcome, but only what is necessary for our end users. I'll explain all of that further in the next few slides. So let's start with our business challenge for today. What is our business challenge and how can we overcome this challenge with focusing on our end users' needs and wants? Our business challenge for today is theater, which is in other words the cinema or the movie place where we watch movies, cinema in other words. They want to increase their revenue. They want to sell more tickets by 25% and they want to attract more people with making their experience better. So they want to increase their revenue, to sell more tickets for movies, but as well as they want to make their customers satisfied and happy with the service they are getting. How many of you guys like to go watch movies in the cinema? Tell me. Okay, great. A lot of people, right? Some of you guys have things that will stop them from going to the movies because they might have a very busy schedule. Uh, they like to go to movies with friends, but their friends are not really movie and so on. So each one of us would love to go to watch the movies, but there are some obstacles that comes to their way. So one of our personas that I focused on is Wurud. Wurud loves go watching movies in the cinema. However, there are some issues, some pain points that she's facing, and she's not able to go watch movies whenever she wants. So let us know more about Wurud through the design thinking techniques, and then we will be coming up with ideas to solve her pain points and then we come up with the prototype. You will be always welcome to add more personas to your homework. That would be completely fine, as each of us have different pain points and have different expectations to have fun or do in everyday life. So let's talk about Wurud. Wurud, she's 24 years old. She's a mother of one kid. Um, she likes to go watch movies. However, she doesn't really find the time to go out with her husband specifically. She needs someone to watch her baby if they go out. She doesn't want to spend so much time outside the house. So to know more about our persona, we have to observe, as we said. We need to know what does she like, what does she do in her life. So we try to gather all these basic information or facts about this persona. So she doesn't want to stand in the queue, the long queue to get a ticket, and then she has to stand in the other queue to get the snacks and then be on time to the movie. Because if she needs to stand in those two lines, long queues, she will need to leave the house really early, and that in that case she will be spending a lot of time outside the house away from her son. So let's talk about Wuru's persona in a deep way. So, in order to do that, we try to come up with the empathy map. Please, guys, go through the design thinking for beginners course in the Digital Nation Africa, and go through if you would like to just have an idea, go through the design thinking webinar. So, in the empathy map, we try to uh, look at a specific event and see how Wurud thinks and acts and say and feels about this specific event. So let's say there's a movie that came out, and she wants to go to watch the movie with her husband. So what is she thinking, saying, doing, and feeling about this specific event? We all put it in the empathy map. Now, Urut, she's thinking that where shall I leave my son if I want to go to the movies? She's saying that she loves watching movies with her husband. She's feeling down and sad and bored because she wants to change this. Now, let's talk about the as a scenario. As a scenario, we basically pick a day from the user's life and we go through the steps that she or he takes in order to do a specific activity. So let's think about Urut's experience. And how is she gonna go to watch the movie outside the house? So step number one, she wakes up to get ready very early in the morning. She prepares her son to take him to the nursery. She's feeling tired already. Second step, she completes her tasks at work, and she goes back home to have late lunch with her husband and kids. She's happy, satisfied, but there's something missing. She stays at home and she makes her baby go to bed, and she's feeling sad that she wants to do something more exciting and she wants to go out and have fun with her husband and watch a movie in the cinema. The last thing, they would just end up staying at home, watching a movie in the house, and hoping that they would have a chance to go and watch a movie with like the minimum amount of hours they would spend outside. So here, the pain points of Wurud is that she wants to go to the cinema, but she doesn't want to be late. She doesn't want to stand in a very long queues for purchasing the cinema ticket or the movie ticket, and then she needs to stand in another queue to get the snacks she wants. And as we said, she loves snacks and she loves the experience, the whole experience of watching a movie. Now, after we talk about the as is and we come up with the pain point, from here we take or we identify the need statement. So, in order to come up with the right idea and the right prototype and solution, we have to identify the exact need of this persona because we're trying to make this persona as happy as possible, as well as we're trying to sell more tickets. If we're looking at the um, company's perspective. Now, your homework will begin from this step, which you will be coming up with ideas You will be using these two grids. You feel free to use any tool you want. You can use PowerPoint, Word document, whatever you like. You would put your ideas in this box, and then you put a prioritization grid, which is the one you're seeing, and you start voting for your ideas. Which one is a feasible idea, which is it's easy to implement, and which one of the ideas that are important for Wuruj. And please feel free to add more personas if you would like. But we just made it one persona for the simplicity, and you wouldn't uh, like get confused with all the personas. And then after coming up with the idea, you will be moving towards the solution, which is you will be coming up with a wireframe, prototype, and so on. In this case, you will be asked for ideas, for crazy and wild ideas. Try to come up with whatever you think of. And for the prototype and the other part of design thinking, Rami will be explaining to you. So please, before I move to Rami and Rami showing you all the tools that you will be using to create the perfect UI UX design for your solutions, ask me any questions. And if you don't have any questions now, please reach out to me on my email that it will be included at the end of this presentation. So, any questions? Okay. Jerry, he's asking to explain the idea. Okay. So the ideation, after we come up with the business challenge and we know who are we targeting, we want to know what are the pain points of this persona. That means what is bothering this persona? What does this persona need from us to make their experience better? So Ruth, as we said, she hates standing in long queues. Whenever she goes to the cinema, she has to stand in a very long queue to get the ticket, the movie ticket, and then after getting the movie ticket, she has to stand in another long queue to get the snacks like popcorn, crepe, whatever. So we want to minimize this time, and we want to make Wurud's experience much better, that it would be super easy for her to go to the cinema and watch a movie on time without standing in these two long queues. So how can we make this opportunity or this solution for Wurud? And ideation is basically when you try to brainstorm and coming up with ideas to solve. So, for example, I want an app to make Urud order her snacks to the cinema, and that would be so convenient for Urud. But we want as well to know if it's feasible or not, So based on the idea you come up with, try to use the prioritization grid that you see here that has the feasibility and the importance, and see if this idea is feasible and important, or it's just important and not feasible, and so on. Any other questions?
Yes, we have some questions. Uh, so someone is asking me, why is it important to create MVP in any organization?
Okay. Who's asking? John, you're asking why is it so important to have an MVP? Okay, so basically, when you try to come up with a product, let's talk in a generic way, you don't come up with everything because it might cost you a lot. It will take you a lot of effort, and you would be, for example, hiring a lot of people to work on this product. And when you publish this product, the people might not like it, and the audience you are targeting might not be interested. So you will lose, and your product will not have a value. So instead of doing all of this and putting so much effort and money and time, you would just come up with the minimum features or the minimum that will solve a challenge of this persona or solve a pain point of this persona, and then this persona will value your product or service. Otherwise, you're just gonna be like wasting your money and time. So you have to take care what are you trying to sell or what are you trying to provide for your end users. I hope that's clear.
Someone asked me, is the persona that we choose represent the higher percentage of people who attend the cinema, or is it like a persona, and there are different personas?
No, you will be having a lot of personas. So, for example, um, me, as a persona, I love going to movies, but the thing that I don't always find my friends interested in a movie. Or, for example, the movies that are available are very late at times. So one of the personas that they like to go to watch movies, but the kind of movies they like um, are being screened at a very late time, that would be issue for me. So a lot of people have a lot of pain points, but we focused on one of them, which is Wurud, not because this is like the most persona that is not going to the movies because of her son, but in this case, we will be solving a lot of personas' pain points because if you think about it, a lot of people they don't like to wait in the queues, not because they have kids at home, but they just don't like the waiting thing. So in this in this business case, where it's right that we're targeting Wurud, but at the same time we're doing something for a huge part of the people or the personas or the audience that we care about. So imagine yourself going to the cinema without the importance or the the time you have to spend in a very long queues. That would be amazing for all of us, right?
Uh,
Any other questions?
yes. Why is this shape, a graph shaped like this?
Okay, so if you see the curved lines, so if your idea, um, can you see the map? Okay, so if your idea is here, it's gonna be this is the most feasible and the highest important. So the ideas that will fill here, they would be the most feasible and important for the solution, and they would have the higher um, chance to be implemented, and so on. Like here, the ideas would be less important for the user and less feasible for the company to implement. And here are the ideas that they could be implemented, they could be important, but they might be implemented and they might be important in the long run. So after you come up with the ideas in this box and state all your crazy and wild ideas, you start voting. You start see what idea is a feasible idea or important idea. And the ideas that fill here in this part, which is called the no-brainer part, they would just uh, be qualified to be a wireframe or a prototype or a solution for our persona.
So do they have to work on Wurud as their persona, or
Yes, please focus on Murud. And if you wanted to come up with other personas and solve their issues, please feel free to go through the design thinking techniques, which is you have to identify who are you targeting, who's your persona, new persona other than Murud, what's the empathy map of this persona, and what is the as scenario for this persona, and you combine the pain points of Urud's persona and the persona that you will come up with and try to find a solution for this person. Super smart.
what factors determine the feasibility of an idea?
For example, you cannot. Okay, so when I said crazy and wild ideas, um, people might come up with an idea like a bracelet that shines, for example, in order that to get you the snacks to your seat. This idea is not feasible. It's just wild and crazy. But from this idea, we can get other ideas. So, for example, if I wear a bracelet that is red, that means okay, popcorn should be served to person who's wearing a red bracelet. this is not feasible. It could be feasible, but in a very long run. So, but it's important. Yeah, it's good for the user. It would be amazing that he or she wouldn't uh, like have to stand in a queue or ask for whatever they want, and just the order comes to them in a very easy way. So this is not a feasible idea. This is just um, like a wild idea that we can use it later on, or we can get inspired by this idea to come up with a real idea or something we can implement. It would be an amazing opportunity for you, so you would know how design thinking can be applied, and how can you actually come up with a prototype that would be add to your skills for sure. And the fact that you're gonna get back to us and we give you our feedback, that would be as well amazing for you guys. So I hope you will like this design thinking with UI UX design, and you would be interested to send us your solutions. I mean, okay. So I'm gonna leave the stage for Rami. He will tell you all about the prototype and how can you come up with the right prototype and so on. And if you have any other questions regarding the design thinking, please send me an email. And I hope you enjoy the UI UX design topic. Thank you so much, Rami, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining the Design Thinking webinar. My name is Rami. I am a UX designer. I work at IBM. I have been working in UX design for the past 2 years. Now, since Jude has explained to us the process of design thinking, to recap, she explained to us how to identify the business challenge, how to come up with personas, empathy map, and so on. And finally, she ended up her presentation with coming up with ideas and put them in the idea map, and to put them in this diagram, as you can see. But what's the next step? What if we have an idea? Let's say we have an amazing idea. Where to go next? So for the next step is to do a UX design. What is UX design? UX design is to make users reach their goal, or allow users to get what they came for in the easiest and most pleasurable way possible. There are two major steps of UX design: wireframes and prototyping. First of all, I will talk about wireframes. Wireframes, basically, they are just a visual mock-up that outline the basic structure of your website or app. So wireframes are just representation of your idea, of your app, the user flow, how it just show the structure and the layout of the application. So let's take an example. Let's say that you want to create a movie app in which for a theater or for a cinema, in which users can download the app of movies, and after let's say they like a movie from the list and they want to book it. So in wireframes, we need to show this process, the process of booking a movie. Here I'm showing two wireframes that shows this example. Here the first page is a mobile app page that shows the list of movies that the user can attend. And for each movie card, I'm showing the image, the movie title, the genre, and the rating. And at the bottom, we have three tabs. We have the movies tab, in which it will display all the movies. We have my tickets, in which the user will find his booking. And finally, accounts, in which the user can, for example, sign out of the application or so on. So all right, so we have this visual representation. Let's say we have created this visual representation, and next we need to create the flow of the user within this app. So I have created one more page. Here, this page, the second page, shows what the user will see when clicking in a movie card. Here I'm showing a video of the movie, the trailer, the option to book a ticket. Basically, I'm capturing the day, the timing, and the seat. And at the end, I have a button in which the user can click to book a movie. So as you see, it's not very pretty. It's just black and white. And the purpose of this is just to show the structure of the app. All right. And after this step comes the prototyping. In the prototyping, you make it. You add colors, you add icons, you add images, and so on. All right. But this is very important step. In this step, you can validate your idea. You can just have an overview of how your application will look like. All right. For wireframes, you can to create them, you can just use simply pen and paper to do this. But another way to do it is to use Figma. I will show you this tool. I will switch to my browser. Here I'm in Figma.com. Warud will send this link in the chat. This is a website. This is a service in which you can create a UI and a UX design of your application. Right? This is I think this tool is amazing. It will offer you the ability to create low fidelity and high fidelity prototype. It's web based, so you don't need to download anything in your computer, and it has the option to do prototyping, meaning you can make your prototype clickable. All right, and here I'm just going to sign up to the application. It will ask me for an email and password. Let's pick a password, create account, design, create account. Now we are in Figma. Start first by creating a new file. Right? You can create a new file by clicking on the plus icon on the top. Now we are in our workspace. This page contains multiple parts. The biggest one is in the middle. It's the canvas. Here, where you will do all your work. You will create the pages here. And at the top you have your tools. At the right side you have your properties panel. You have the layers. Great. Now let's start by creating our first page. You can create your first page by clicking on the frame icon. As you see, it's on the top here. Click on it, and it will ask you for the dimension. I will pick the iPhone X dimension. This is just pick the resolution of the screen. It will just pick the height and the width. So now, by clicking on iPhone X, it will select the dimensions of the iPhone X phone resolution. All right. Now we have our first page. It's white for now. In the right side, you can manage the properties. So if I click on my canvas in my page, on the right side you can control the background color. So for example, I can click on it and I can say red. And you can also control the opacity and multiple things in here. All right, so now let's create the movie app prototype that I showed in the slides. I will start by making the tabs at the bottom. Now it's in gray. I will just make it white. I will add a stroke to it, a frame, and I will fill it with white. Good. And now okay. Now I will create the three tabs that we will have. As we discussed, we have movies.
Is Figma a free service or a paid service?
Figma is a free service up to 2 projects and up to 2 people. So So if you are an entrepreneur, if you are working alone or with a team of two, this would be great. It will be a great option for you. But if you have multiple people in your team, say you have two or more people, then you need to pay around $12 per person in your team. But if you are working alone, it's fine. It's totally free. Now let's account.
2 projects in total.
Now I will create the movies cards, but I do this by clicking on the on my tools panel. On the top, as you see, we have a rectangle. Let's select rectangle and let's drag to create a movie card. This is just a placeholder. In the prototype phase, instead of a gray card, it will contain an image. Good. Now let's click on the text icon to add a text. So here it will go the movie title. Let's make it bigger by clicking on the right hand side panel and increase the font size. And we also want to show the user the genre of the movie.
Are there any more apps like Figma, perhaps?
Yes, there is Sketch. Sketch is only available on Mac, and there is Adobe XD. This is also a free software from Adobe. It's available in both Mac and Windows. All right. Okay. So let's duplicate this card to indicate that this is a list. Again, wireframes don't supposed to be pretty. The purpose of wireframes is just to show the structure of the application. Okay, so as you see, we have a section here. The tab panel is behind the cards. So what we need to do is to bring this panel on the top of the cards. To do this, I need to go to my layers panel on the left. Here, as you see here, this is the rectangle that we have created to indicate the navigation. Click on Shift and select the movies text, select my tickets text, select the accounts text. And now you need to bring it to the front. You do this by clicking and dragging to the top. Click and keep dragging to the top. And now it's above the cards. Let's bring this down a little bit, and let's create a title for this page and call it movies. Let's make a title a little bit bigger, and let's write a text here called search to indicate that here will go the search icon, and let's make it smaller. Okay, amazing. Now we have our first wireframe, and next we need to convert this wireframe to a prototype. Okay, so now let me go back to my presentation and talk about prototype. Okay, prototype. Prototype is a mid to high fidelity design model of your final UI of your website or mobile product. It is as I mentioned in the beginning, it has colors, it has images. It's supposed to be very close to the final product. So the final product should, when we do the prototype, the final product should be exactly the same as the prototype. So this is the movies page that we have created as a wireframe. So as you can see here, we have changed the font. Instead of the icon, instead of the search text, we have replaced it with an icon. We have added images, and we have added icons at the bottom as well. All right. So right now, let's create a prototype really quickly. Let's switch back to Figma. So as you know, you need to create a frame, a page. You do this again by clicking on this icon and you select a frame. Let me select iPhone X again. All right, looks good. Okay, so right now we need to create a movie. Let's do this by clicking on the rectangle and drag. Instead of sharp corners, for me personally, I like rounded corners. So to do this, just zoom in a little bit, click on this circle and drag. Okay, now we have rounded corners. Instead of saying movie title, let's give this card a title, a name, a movie name. So I will just type The Lion King. And let me make this text a bit bigger. Maybe a bit smaller. And let me, instead of regular, let me make it bold. And we type here genre. So let me give it a name. Instead of genre, let's say that it's action. And instead of bold, I make it regular and I make the text a bit smaller. And let me give the add the rating on the right side. So let's say that this movie has a rating of 95%. Okay. And instead of a gray background, let me actually have an image background for it. I do this by clicking on the background, on the rectangle, then click on this icon under the fill panel, and instead of solid, change it to image. And now click on choose image. I have a couple of images here in my desktop. Let me choose the. Okay. Okay, great. But there is an issue in here. As you can see, the text is not very clear. This is because the text is black and the background is also black. So we fix this by clicking on the title, then click on shift, then click on the other text at the card. And here, instead of black, let's make it white. Sorry? Sorry, I couldn't hear your question. You can type your question on the chat. Okay, so now let's proceed. Click on, now as you see, there is another issue. The text is still not very clear. We can solve this by adding a gradient black background at the bottom part of the card. To do this, click on the image and click on this plus icon next to fill. And here it added a linear background. Click on it and select a darker one. But as you see, the darker part is at the top. Let me switch it to be at the bottom part.
Hello, who's talking? Can you please speak louder? If you have any questions, please send them on the chat. Rami will be answering them soon.
I have a question.
Yeah, Jerry.
So after somebody has built a prototype, they send it to the programmers to code it, or how does that go?
Yes, I will talk about this in detail later on. But basically, yes, the prototype is just so basically, yeah, you send it to your programmers, and you ask them to create an exact replica of it. But there are tools here that will help your programmer to know the exact specifications of the items. For example, here, if your programmer want to know the font size and the thickness of the title, click on it and click on codes on the right panel, and it will give you the CSS code of this title. So as you see, it gives you the font family, the font style, the color, and so on. So you give this specifications to your programmers, and based on them, they will create an app, the final product.
So Jerry is asking if this can be applied to any concept apart from movies.
Yes. So here, this is in this tool, you can create any prototype that you want. So for example, I'm now using movies as an example, but you can have any idea, and you can create any prototype in this tool. The same process will apply for any idea, right? Okay, great. Now let's make a shadow. Let's give a shadow for this card. We do this by going back again to design, add an effect. Now it has a drop. Now a drop shadow has been added, but let's make it a little bit softer. Let's give the Y value of 0. You can play with these values until you come up with a design that you like. Great. Now it has a soft shadow around it. Okay. All right. Now let's add the title. The title was movies. Let's make it a bit bigger. Let's duplicate the card to indicate that there might be many movies in this slide, in this page. We do this by copying and pasting. I'm clicking Shift and the right and top arrows in order to move the card up and down. So I'm copying it, then I click Shift and I move it down using my arrows keys. Let's duplicate it. Get a bit of space, and let's duplicate these 4 cards as well. Okay, all right. Now instead of this image, I will quickly change this image. I do this by clicking on an image again, choose an image, and click on another image. Do the same process for the other cards. Okay, I will do these 4 cards for now. Now I need to create this navigation bar. Click on the rectangle icon and drag. Okay. Now let's, instead of saying movies, my tickets and account, I think it would be nicer if we add icons instead. So click in this again, click on this and click on image. Now click on choose image and select an icon. I have this movie icon. I will click on it. Let's make it a bit smaller. And let's duplicate it. And change this movie icon to another icon. Tickets. And finally, account. Okay. Now it looks good. Now let me change the background of the navigation bar. Instead of gray, let me choose white. So click on this and choose white. And right now, I think it would be nice if we add a shadow to it to indicate that it's this navigation bar is above the cards. So do this by clicking on the navigation bar, the rectangle, and click on Effects, and click on this sun icon, and add a shadow to the top. So you can add shadow to the top of the card by giving the Y by giving the Y box a minus value. So let's say minus 10. Actually, maybe minus 5 would be better. And let's make this a little bit lighter. And finally, we have search in here. So instead of saying search, I think it's better also to add an icon. Let's create an icon very quick for search. You do this by clicking on this rectangle, the arrow next to the rectangle, and select an ellipse. Drag. Sorry, let me drag it again to make a perfect circle. And let's add a stroke to it, a black stroke, and let's fill it with white. And finally, let's just add a line. Let's select all of it and make it a bit smaller. Okay, all right, now it looks good. Now, as you see, after we created our first wireframe, after you do this, you test it with real users, you validate that it solves your business challenge, and when you are sure of this, you go to the next phase, which is prototype, to make everything look pretty before sending it to your developers. All right, okay. Now, to share, as Jude mentioned, we will ask you to submit your assignment. In order for you to send us your assignment, you need to share your prototype with us. To do this, click on the share icon on the top. As you see here, we have share. Click on it, and after this, make sure that it is it's on anyone with the link kind of view. And click on copy link and send us this link to my email. All right. Great. Now let's continue the presentation. To recap, there are 4 main steps on the UX design process. The first step is research. You do research by doing design thinking, as you mentioned. And the next step is design. And this design involves creating a wireframe and creating a prototype. The third step is user testing. So the wireframe that you have created or the prototype that you have created, you test it with the real users, you sit with them, you make them interact with your design, and based on your observation, you can identify what are the areas that you want to improve on, and or if your design is perfect and you can go ahead with implementation. And also, an important step of user testing is A/B testing. In A/B testing, basically, if you have 2 ideas, if you have two solutions of your problem, you can have 2 wireframes or 2 prototypes, and you can sit with real users, with your personas, and ask them which one is better, or from your observation, you can notice which one is better, actually. And the 4th step is implementation. Implementation is sending your wireframe and your prototype to your developers. You give them, you document your design, you send them the colors, you send them the font sizes, and you send them the images and the icons.
What is A/B testing?
A/B testing is, all right, so say that you, let me give you an example in here. All right, so here we have 2 ways. We have did the navigation bar in 2 ways. The first way is instead of an icon, we just type a text. We say movies, my ticket, and accounts. And in the second one, in the second prototype, instead of text, we have put it 3 icons. So in A/B testing, you give two solutions to your persona or to your users, and you based on your observation, you notice if your solution is valid or not. So let's say that your persona or your user didn't know what this icon means, right? Let's say that it was not clear for them that this means my ticket. So based on this, you can go back. You can just, instead of icon, you can just say my tickets. Or if everything is fine, if users are happy and can use your application, you select to go with this design, with this option of having an icon. So to recap, A/B testing is giving the users, giving your users that are testing the app two options, and based on the observation, you identify which option best fits the user needs, and and is easier for the users. Right. Now, any questions before I talk about the assignment? Any questions about wireframing, prototyping?
Question for the last step of the UX design process, which is implementation. What if we don't have developers that we know can idea to? What do we do?
There are many great tools in the web that you can that can help you to create websites without coding. You can do it yourself if you want, or but it's better always to have a team of developers because sometimes some complicated ideas, like for example here the movie app idea, it requires customization because it solves a unique business case. Right. For this you can use many tools in IBM Cloud that can help you to accelerate and we also have courses on our platform to teach you how you can create a website and how can you create an app as well.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so this highlight appears so to indicate that this icon has been selected. Yeah, and when you click on it, on the right side, a panel will show you more options, more things that you can do with this icon.
Usability.
How do we test usability? All right. So to test usability, you sit with your personas, your clients, and you present them with this solution. You present them with, for example, with this wireframe, and you see how they react. How, like for example, you can ask them book a movie, right? Book the Lion King movie, and based on their behavior, based on what they do, how they interact with the app, you can validate if your design is good enough or not. So here, let me go back a few slides. So here, to book a movie, you need to create, for example, click on the Lion King, and you also, when you do this, you go to another page where you will be asked to select a date and select a time and select a seat. If you give this to your user, your potential customer, and if he didn't know, for example, he didn't notice the checkout button at the bottom, and he was struggling to find out how to go next from this page, you can know, based on this observation, you can know that you need to do adjustments. You need to, for example, you need to make this checkout button bigger, you need to change its color, and so on. So basically, to recap, you just sit with your customers and make them use the app, and based on the observation, you can identify what's the problems that you are facing and fix upon them. And text.
I thought UX design is done before the app has been developed. So how will you see to the app?
Yes, of course. UX design is done before the app is done. So it's okay. You just show them the images. So for example, you just show them this left image, and you can print it on a paper, or you can show them in a PowerPoint slide. And you tell them, okay, you have this page, you have this left screen. How do you book a movie? And if they say, okay, I would click on this card, on the Lion King card, you would say, okay, great. Now you have this page. How do you change? You ask them questions, like how do you change the date of this movie booking, and how do you change the time? You don't need to have the full end product before you start testing. You can just test on images. You can just give them to the user and see how they react to these images. Okay.
Someone is asking how can he create an existing wireframe or duplicate a wireframe? Is it by Control A copy paste?
Okay. So yeah, so to duplicate this one, to duplicate this page, click on Command C on Mac or Control C on Windows and Control V, and now it will be duplicated. All right, and or click on Option on Mac and drag the title of the page, and it will be duplicated as well. Instead of Option, you can use Alt on Windows.
I just
Sorry.
sorry, yes.
Yes, can I ask a question?
Yes,
Yes,
sure.
sure.
Okay, from which website are you actually advising us to download some pictures which are license free, that wherever you are allowing us to just download those pictures from?
There are many free websites you can find online. So let's, if you do a Google search, there is this website, Flat Icon, and it contains many free icons. But you need to check, to double check. If you click on an icon, you need to read all the all the terms and conditions of the icon that you have selected.
Just come again. What website did you say that was again?
This is flaticon.com. Flaticon.com. Warud has sent it in the chat. This is the website that you can use for icons.
Okay, if you send it, I think it will be very helpful for all of us. Yes, thank you. I will appreciate that one also.
There are some icons that you need to pay for, but there are also many free icons. So let's say that you want a search icon that you have seen previously. Type search and here we have this icon, and click on it and just copy it to your Wi-Fi. So to the right, go to the right, copy image, and go back to your Figma and control paste. And now you have this icon. You can resize it and put it in your Wi-Fi. Okay. All right. Another questions?
Yeah. So someone sent me saying that they want to build a prototype one second, for a research consultancy, and how can he develop it? So basically, like we said, we connected the two topics, design thinking and your UX. Once you know your personas, their challenges, and what they are trying to solve, then you connect these dots, you brainstorm and come up with ideas that suit your users, and then start developing using UX tools. Right, Sami?
Yeah, exactly. Other questions?
Can you please share the Figma link, the one that Sami is working on? So can we share the link of your Figma design?
Yes, absolutely. Okay, I will share it with you. I will share the link in the presentation later on.
What is the difference between wireframes and sketching?
Someone, Imad, is asking what's the difference between wireframe and sketching. Sketching usually it's done on a paper using a pen, and wireframes are usually more high fidelity than sketches. But both of them are great solutions if you to start off with creating a prototype of your application. But basically, there is no much difference between them. And so let me go next and talk about the assignment. I can see that there are more questions on the chat, but we are limited on time. If you want, you can send me your questions on my email. It's rami.maithroni1@ibm.com. rami.maithroni1@ibm.com. Rod will send the email on the chat. You are more than welcome to send me your questions. Let me talk about the assignment. The assignment is to use design thinking to brainstorm for an idea that solves Wurud's pain points. So as Jude mentioned, Wurud does not have enough time. Wurud likes to go to movies, to the cinema, but she does not have enough time to do so. So how to solve her problem? How to make it it easier for her to book for a movie or to go to a movie. All right. And to solve this assignment, you need to submit two things. First, you need to send us how you use design thinking to come up with your idea. We recommend you to go again to the slides through this presentation and follow the design thinking process in order to come with your own idea. And after this, use Figma to create a wireframe and a prototype. And please share this wireframe and the prototype with us using the method that I have just shown to you, using the share feature on Figma. Just share this link with us and design thinking process to rami.mathonian1@idm.com, to this email. Last day to accept submissions is on the 14th of August. It's next Wednesday. And for the top solutions, for the top winners, we will feature them in our Facebook group. So we will announce the top solutions on our Facebook group. Does anyone have a question about the assignment?
Right. Yes, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Concerning the second part where you say send us your Figma wireframes link and prototypes link of your idea. Is this link we are sending, is it related to what we learned concerning Woodridge pain point, or is it the link we are sending regarding to the movie aspect you just gave to us, please?
Yes. So you need you need to this prototype and the wireframe that you will create should solve Woodridge's pain point. As I said, she likes to go to movies, but she does not have time. So your solution, your idea that you will come up with, should solve Woodridge's pain point. And after you come with the idea, use Figma to create a wireframe and a prototype that showcase the solution that you have created. You can again, just to repeat, you can share your prototype with us by clicking on the share button. Here on the top you have the share button. Click on it and make sure that anyone with the link can view, and copy the link and send this link to us via email. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
I have a question.
Sure.
According to the specifications of the assignment, does it necessarily just have to be entangled within Woodridge's pain, or we can decide to be a little innovative and come up with different solutions that go hand in hand with whatever we're trying to solve in the task assignment?
Yes. So yeah. So yeah, of course. Try to try to think of creative solutions to solve this issue, to solve Woodridge's pain point. And when you do this, you can create a wireframe or a prototype that showcases your creativity, your creative solutions. And the creative solutions and the ones that who come up with the with a full who will apply design thinking to come up with a good solution will be featured. Will have more chance to be featured on our Facebook group.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. All right. If you have any question about the assignment or any question in general on UX design and design thinking, you are more than welcome to send me an email of your question. And that's it for me.